With the Giorgio Cafiero in Washington, D.C. He's the CEO of Gulf State Analytics. Giorgio, it's always good to speak to you. So what's your reading of the situation here and the dissolving of the STC? The Houthis are saying this is something that Saudi Arabia has made the STC do, force them into it, as they are in Riyadh right now for talks. How do you see this unfolding?
Well, what we know from the past few weeks in Yemen is that the situation is just so fluid. Let's remember when we came into the new year, there was good reason to expect either an official or an unofficial independence of a new state in South Yemen ruled by the STC. And now today we're looking at the news that we have. Clearly, the gains that the STC achieved in December were reversed very, very quickly. The group made some huge miscalculations, lost the external backing from the UAE, and is now dealing with huge loss. This is, as I said, very humiliating for the organization. But as your reports have indicated, there are important questions and many unknown variables right now. Clearly within the STC and certainly within the Southern movement at large, I think there are many divisions that are not going to go away anytime soon, many disagreements among different figures within the STC about how to proceed moving forward. And I also think what comes out of the talks in Saudi Arabia will matter, and how Saudi Arabia chooses to deal with the southern issue in Yemen will matter very much as well. So as I said, it's really one unknown variable meets the other, but at least for today, what we can say is that the STC is certainly dealing with a very, very humiliating set of circumstances.
How did the STC get to the stage where, as you said, just a few months ago, they made massive gains in the south, only for them to be, as you say, the miscalculations, those gains were lost very quickly? Is it due to that military support that Saudi Arabia has given the internationally recognized government?
Well, I think possibly there was some overconfidence and some huge miscalculations. I think the STC was not necessarily expecting Saudi Arabia to react as decisively and as intensely as Riyadh did. And I think at the same time, the UAE pulling back its support was a huge factor too, really underscored the extent to which the STC's power was very much dependent on Abu Dhabi. At the same time, it's not just external factors within the land in southern and eastern Yemen that the STC took control over in December. There's a lot of local opposition to the STC. Many powerful tribal factions in eastern Yemen have been very suspicious of the STC for many years. They were very fearful about what life would be like under the rule of a sort of a de facto southern regime. And I think that obviously those internal dynamics are very important too. And perhaps the STC made some big miscalculations regarding the political landscape in parts of Yemen.
If the STC has indeed dissolved, and we'll see this play out over the next few days and possibly the next few weeks, could it in any way bring Yemen or unify the country more so? You will still have these divisions, of course. You still have the Houthis in control of key economic ports and then the internationally recognized government. The STC was in control of most of the country, but could this actually unify Yemen to a point where you may not see groups wanting to actually have an entirely different country and government altogether?
Well, bringing the Houthis and the anti-Houthi forces together in a unified Yemen, to be frank with you, it still seems like that's a very long ways off if that's ever going to happen. But what I think we can say is that in the event that the anti-Houthi forces are able to achieve more unity among themselves, that will put more pressure on Ansar Allah. And just my own personal opinion is that the Houthis benefited significantly from the events that took place in December with the STC achieving these rapid territorial gains and the tensions mounting between Saudi Arabia and UAE as this fighting was taking place in the parts of Yemen that the Houthis don't control. But as I said, if the non-Houthi forces, the anti-Houthi forces, are able to reconcile to some extent and move forward with efforts to create a unified front against Ansar Allah that can certainly change the power dynamics in the country.
Giorgio Cafiero, good to get your take live there from DC. Thank you.